What's going on, everyone? Kelly Cavallari here, one half of 7 Arrow Media, and welcome to today's edition of the Honky Tonk Highway, episode number 69. That's right, we're getting closer and closer to that 100th episode, guys. Thank you all for joining me. Hope you all are enjoying everything so far. Don't forget, like, follow, share, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. That way you never miss what we're going to do, never miss when we go live, and never miss when we post some amazing videos. Also, thank you to everyone who joined me today on Line Dance Radio every Tuesday, 9 a.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. UK time. The Honky Tonk Highway hits the radio waves over on Line Dance Radio. Today was a show all about dances by Rachel McEnany White, and tomorrow's episode of the Honky Tonk Highway Talk Show will be just that. I'm going to give you the top 10 most influential dances, in my opinion, that Rachel ever wrote. So, without further ado, today's guest is not going to be your typical run-of-the-mill interview. This man, if you've ever been to a West Coast Swing event, you've definitely heard him play music, and he's probably one of the greatest DJs I've ever known, and a great dear friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, Victor Loveira. What up, brother?
What up, dude?
Thank you for coming on today, man. Thank you so much. I was so happy when you said you'd do it.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm honored to be here and looking forward to this.
So, for those who don't know you out there, why don't you give them a little rundown of how you got started in your dance journey and how you became a West Coast Swing DJ?
Wow. So yeah, I mean, I have...
If we can go back that far, were there tablets and like stones keeping those
right?
records?
No kidding. I mean, I have been around music ever since I could remember. I mean, my father has been into music. There's always been music playing in my home. And then it was just something that as I got older, I kind of followed into it a little bit more. And I actually was a DJ at nightclubs. So I was like beat mixing and spinning and stuff like that while I was still in high school. So like literally at some of these places, I wasn't old enough to go into and drink, but here I am spinning the music. So that was kind of weird. And then, you know, my brother and I had our own like mobile DJ company, and we did weddings and corporate gigs and stuff like that. And then I got married and totally just, you know, gave up DJing and whatnot. And then unfortunately got divorced and got reintroduced to swing dancing. I kind of knew a little bit of it in the 80s, but, you know, didn't really do anything with it. And then I kind of started to learn how to do the dance, and I was introduced to a gentleman by the name of Mark Fisher from Florida, who he used to do these CDs back in the day that were compilation CDs that every West Coast Swing DJ had. You know, it was those CDs that had like 12 songs, and you heard those 12 songs at all of the contests and all of the events. So, but he actually was like, hey, you know, there are some Sundays where I may not be able to DJ for the swing club. You know, I know you used to DJ. Why don't you, you know, if I ever need your help, would you do it? And I was like, yeah, sure, no problem, not thinking anything of it. And sure enough, he couldn't make it one of the monthly dances. And now here I am finding myself, crap, I got a DJ and I don't have any music. So I had to like, you know, research all the music. And back then, dude, that was before laptops, before Spotify, before any of that crap. So you literally had to go to the CD store and spend anywhere from $15 to $20 for a CD that had one, maybe 2 songs if you were lucky. That's a lot of money, yo. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I went and got as many as I needed for just a couple of hours that I had to DJ, because I figured, look, if I don't like this, at least I'm not spending a lot of money. But no, I got totally hooked again. And, you know, the more and more I started DJing, actually, where I first started doing West Coast Swing on a regular basis was for, I don't know if you're going to remember this name. This is a blast from the past, Branson.
Yeah.
So Cal, who's the father of Katrina Branson, for those of you that may know out there, Cal used to compete a lot in the country world, and Cal had a studio in Fort Lauderdale, and he would have, local dances, weekly, monthly, what have you, bring in instructors, and that's how I started DJing on a regular basis. And then Cal used to run an event, 4th of July weekend, in Fort Lauderdale, where he would bring in a lot of instructors and whatnot. And I was lucky enough, he asked me to DJ. And dude, that's when I met everybody. Like, I remember I met Brett and Khalees, I met Angel and Debbie, you name it, I met everybody. And from that little event, without even hearing me play, Chair Peden hired me to the first national event that I ever played, which was Texas Classic, that later became America's Classic, ACC. So that's kind of how I rolled into everything. And, knock on wood, I have been, thank God, since 1996 going strong.
Oof. Royston wants to know if you're still spinning 8 tracks.
Yes, every time he comes to visit, it's an homage to him.
That's awesome. Royston just said he competed against Cal. Now y'all are just dating yourselves.
Yeah.
As we all have the
I'm
gray
older
hair.
than all of you guys, so that really kind of sucks.
It happens. I'm not that young anymore either, so it's okay. So, what's it like being a DJ on the West Coast Swing Circuit? Going through having to pick out comp music, the social aspect, all of that. Because we've been at lots of events together, and I'm lucky if maybe about 1 o'clock in the morning we get to see each other for a drink.
Right. Right. So, for me, the last, 10 to 15 years, I would say, it's changed drastically for me, because when I first came into this world, I was known as just the DJ. And to be quite honest, man, even going back to the days when I worked at nightclubs, I hated getting on the microphone. I hated having to make an announcement. So even like on Wednesday nights when I lived in Houston and I DJ'd for the Southwest Whip Club at the Melody Club on Wednesday nights, and if there was an announcement, I would always make Mario do it. And then one time he was like at the bar and he's like, no, I'm not walking all the way to the DJ booth because he already knew what was going to happen. So, he made me make the announcements, and it kind of grew from there. So for me, it's kind of odd, because for a lot of the people that have been coming into the swing world, they don't really know me as a DJ. A lot of them know me more as an MC first, and yeah, they've seen me DJ here and there. Because, I've been doing a lot more MCing. Luckily, Robert was always kind enough to take me under his wing and just kind of let me blossom into whatever the hell I am when I pick up a microphone. But I honestly, especially now during the pandemic, I miss DJing more than I thought I would. And when we get back, I want to get back more to my roots and DJ more, because I really miss the social, I miss the contest, and I want to get back to that, because to me, there's nothing better than standing in the DJ booth, because I don't sit when I DJ, I stand up. And seeing 1,000 people just freaking dancing to the music that you play. For me, there's no bigger high than that. And I do get, a lot of rushes from MCing, because it's amazing to make people laugh. But to me, there's still nothing better than watching people social dance to your music, and then not only are they dancing to it, but you're taking everybody on a journey, and they're trusting you and all hopping in the car, and they're like, wherever we go, we go. I miss that. And I also miss watching videos of great dances in a Jack and Jill and not being able to be part of it with the song that I chose for that couple. Because to me, that's a huge thing too. And I miss all of that, man. So I'm hoping to get back to more of that.
Awesome. Now, I have a question, being from a guy who sets up a lot of ballrooms from all the dance floors I set up. And we've been at a lot of swing events: River City, Trilogy, Tampa Bay Classic, New Year's Eve. Where do you like to have the booth? The front of the room, the back, because because this is always a conversation with event directors where to put the booth.
So I'm super old school, man. I prefer the DJ booth to be center facing the dance floor. So in other words, when the couple is dancing, right, and they look up, what they see is not only the video camera but the DJ booth. And here's why. Number one, to me, the flow of a ballroom should always be circular. It shouldn't be like, in different sections. It should be like a circular thing, kind of like the wind blowing, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why I kind of like the DJ booth, because let's just be honest, the DJ booth is the center of any event, because without the music, what the hell are we there for, right?
So true.
So I always feel that the energy should always be in the center. That way it's easy to get to the energy. When the DJ booth is off to the side, you always notice that all the top pros and all of whomever are always up by that area, and it intimidates everybody else from going to that area. So that creates division and pockets. Mm-hmm. That's why I like the center, because everyone can always end up in the center, and no matter what part of the floor you are, you're still close to the center. Yeah? Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Now, that's just for my chi. Now, for contest, it's so much easier for a contest DJ to see the couple straight forward than off to the side. And it's also easier for the couple to just have to, if they're off to the side, just kind of, give a nod towards you, as opposed to if you're behind them, the leader has to totally look behind, because sometimes the follower can't be the one to give you the nod. So it just makes it easier, right? Plus, for Jack and Jill's, when the dance floor is full, it's easier for the DJ too. Plus, it's easier to find the head judge or the judges.
Right.
And even if I get in the way of the video, well, so what? Put the video a little off to my right or a little off to my left. It's still going to be centered. And I don't care if I'm up at the front or if I'm towards the back. I think that depends on the ballroom layout and the flow of traffic. For me, the closer the DJ can be. Hell, if I could DJ on the dance floor, dude, I would.
Ooh.
Yeah, don't think I haven't already thought about that. And I've already spoken to somebody about that. We're supposed to do that at an event.
Where you just kind of put the floor
I can't say
around
where, but that's already been talked about.
Put the floor, kind of like encase the stage in the floor and have like a cutout area.
So no. Literally, you just have like a little thing that would hold your laptop and what have you, and you're literally on the dance floor. Like my feet are on the dance floor, and like how you circle up and you do a half moon, and the guys are on one side and the girls are on the other. You just put the DJ in between right there, kind of like you do when you see live people doing contests to live music. It's usually the guy with the acoustic guitar just singing. It's the same concept.
I'm surprised that, because what program do you use to DJ?
I personally use Virtual DJ.
I'm surprised you just don't download the app.
You can, but the problem with that is I think you have to be on Wi-Fi in order for them to communicate, or maybe Bluetooth.
Well, that's true. You have to be on the same Wi-Fi signal.
And you know as well as I do how sometimes the Wi-Fi in ballrooms can be spotty.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I'm about to say, because I use Virtual DJ as well, and I love Virtual DJ. And that's one of the main reasons, because if for some reason I need to be away and I can just stop something, it makes it very convenient.
And bro, you know as well as I do, if we were able to do that, we'd never see Louis, because he'd always be outside smoking. We'd never see it. You know that's true.
Well, the sad thing is Louis usually does have the Wi-Fi, and he uses Virtual DJ.
Yeah, I know. But he's too busy playing video games up there when he's not doing his job. It's
that's why that's why he doesn't leave his table. He's got to have his game going.
Right. Really funny,
so you got a master's class coming up, and I actually got the ad for it. I'm gonna pop it up on screen here. Tell us a little bit about your master class coming.
So when we all kind of shut down and the pandemic started, I kind of got out there early enough and did a class that was mainly more theory than anything, you know, and it was me talking about how to be a DJ socially versus contest and stuff like that. And everyone really loved it. And I thought, you know, I want to do another one, but I want to do one that you just really dive super deep into it. And you got to roll your sleeves up and you actually get to DJ. And I will DJ with you and I will critique. So basically what I'm doing is, in order to keep it, you know, where I can concentrate and give everybody a good one-on-one, because it's going to be a 4-hour class on September 27th, which is the last Sunday of the month. I'm limiting it to 10 people. Now, if I get 20 or 25 or what have you, you know, I can always add dates to it and do it again. But I want to make sure that those 10 people get, you know, really good one-on-one with me. So I'm literally going to put everyone through the ringer, and we're going to talk about how to DJ socially, how to DJ at certain time of the nights, how it changes, because 8 p.m. is different than 3 a.m., you know, and just give everybody a bunch of different scenarios and let them play the music. And I'm personally going to critique them on the spot. And then I'll play with them and go, you know, I would have done this, or maybe if you would have done this, and just kind of open everybody's mind up to thinking out of the box, because DJing isn't just setting up your laptop, hitting play, walking onto the dance floor, and then grooving all night long, man. You're not a DJ at that point. Your laptop is. You're just enjoying dancing. So I kind of want to, you know, get into people's minds more and kind of let them see where I come from when I DJ. And then if all of that goes well, I'm thinking in a month or so afterwards, do another one, but we dive into just competition music.
Kristen Shaw goes, it's not? You just wouldn't play?
Yeah, no.
So, you were at, and I forget what, WestEcon a couple years ago, yeah. Doug Rozier. They kind of did the same thing where you had the one thing and you had the different tracks, like how to be an event director, judge, DJ. Do you think more events should try to do something like that, where they offer a class to have like people like you and some of the bigger DJs that have been around a while and teach a course like that to train? Because eventually, you know, you're going to have to retire.
Eventually. I'm not leaving this shit until I know it's in good hands. Sorry.
Right.
And I mean that with all the love in the world. I'm not trying to be an ass about that. So I thought that Doug had a brilliant idea. I just thought it was, this is just my opinion, I thought it happened later than it should have. If it would have happened maybe 5 or 7 years before the humongous explosion, you know, of all the events overseas and whatnot, because it's a valuable thing to have. You know, lots of people decide I'm going to run an event without knowing what the hell it entails. Listen, I've been on the swing circuit since 1996, and I thought I knew it all until I started emceeing. And then when I started emceeing, I'm like, holy crap, I've never been privy to this before. And then when I started becoming a co-event director, I was like, holy crap, I never really saw any of this before. So there are layers, right? And it's not just, oh, I've got money, I've got a weekend, I've got a hotel, boom, I'm going to have an event. It's not Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. You actually got to work your ass off. You do. You got to bust your butt off. And you're also rolling the dice and praying to God that you break even, because that means you get to have it again, right?
Right.
So, you know, I thought that concept of what Doug had was brilliant, and it would have helped so many of the overseas event directors that were really in that boat, because they, you know, they had never really done it before, and it was brand new everywhere where it was international. I think that's a brilliant concept, and I think, honestly, and who knows, we may see this when we come back. It would be cool to see more events, because I know that a lot of events started, you know, embracing having solo classes like jazz or ballet or hip hop. So maybe it would be cool to kind of incorporate little master classes like that, like how to run an event, how to DJ, how to MC. But here's the thing. I'm not going to lie. There are events that have offered this in the past. Like I know Dave Moldover has offered this in the past, and he's even done it for free, and people don't show up. Right. So there's only so much you can do, It's like that old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but, good luck trying to make it drink it, right? So it's kind of lives in that area. Although I wish we could add more to West Coast swing other than just West Coast swing, so we can totally blow those doors down and let everybody see everything about this dance by involving other dances too that are successful. I think we kind of get closed-minded when we're involved in something because we're so passionate and love it so much that we don't always step out of the box and go, how the hell can we make this bigger? And open it up to other people that would never see this before, but and at the same time, let other people know about these other dances too. Sometimes we all don't play very well in the sandbox, and I've experienced this over the years because I've DJ'd at swing/line dance events, swing/country, swing/hustle, swing/Lindy, and while all of them, for me personally, were a blast because I have friends that cross all those genres, it wasn't that great for everybody, unfortunately.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I just wish we could maybe just open up and not be so freaking ugly anymore and embrace every dance. And who knows, maybe everything would flourish. Just a thought.
Rob Glover just chimed in and says, "Hey, Victor, brother, love you, mate. WestieCon was an amazing concept for sure. It was special to be a part of all of, and the interviews with Jordan and Tatiana, Kyle and Sarah, and Benji was amazing. Sitting with Victor for the history sessions too were brilliant." And Guyton just chimed in and says, "You have no friends." So
I know. I don't. Listen, when people realize I'm friendly with Guyton, I lose everybody. Of course I have no friends.
So the question I have, though, because we did the floor for WestieCon, so we were there for the week. Do you think it being the weekend before the U.S. Open kind of hindered it all? Maybe it was a different weekend, maybe earlier in the year? Because you and I both know competitors the week before the Open, they don't want to be bothered. They want to. They're saving up to go to the Open over Thanksgiving.
I'm not gonna sit here and say that Doug made a wrong decision on the weekend that he chose. Because here's the deal, man. It's hard as heck to find a weekend as it is now, because you're dealing with not just here in the United States but overseas too, right. And every weekend is double, triple, sometimes quadruple booked by an event, so it's really hard. Now, had it been me, I probably would have looked for a different weekend, but again, it's just everything boils down to logistics, man, and making sure that weekend is available for the plethora of people that you have to invite in order to make this a humongous thing. Now, seeing what the Open does now after the U.S. Open with their Congress, which is a brilliant idea, it's kind of the same concept. Had Doug maybe approached the Open in that kind of a thing, it could have been an addition to the Open, whether you did it the weekend leading up to it or the weekend after. Probably the weekend after, because everyone's done competing and the stress is off. But listen, hindsight's 2020, right? I still think it's a great concept, and I wish more people would incorporate some of the things into their events.
Absolutely, I loved it. I know I remember they had an entire room dedicated to people particularly competing at the U.S. Open that they could have just cut off the dance space and locked in hours. It's like Benji and Nicole were able to practice with no interruptions. They were able to just lock off a ballroom. Yeah. Kyle and Sarah. That was awesome because they had the space for it. They had that place was massive. That convention center was huge.
And and he had so many other really smart concepts, I thought too, that he was giving other teachers that normally don't get hired at events an opportunity to book a ballroom from this time to this time and teach a class and have any event director walk in and just listen to you teach. Because holy crap, When do you have that opportunity? You don't.
Never.
And it was the same thing with the DJs. He had a room set up for any event director to walk in and listen to a DJ. It's brilliant because it's opening up opportunities for people that otherwise, listen, I had to do what I had to do in order to become a DJ in the swing world, right? I know how hard it is now. It's way harder now than it was when I started because there wasn't that many events or that many of us. But now it's, my God, everybody with an iPhone's a DJ.
I love that. So true, so true. Because I love, one of the things I know, you're co-event director of Trilogy Swing. Had the privilege of being there a couple times. I just wish the line dance event would move off of it so it doesn't interfere anymore.
Right.
I love coming up and hanging out with you and Rick and Cynthia. The one thing I love that y'all do the newcomer track, and all the champions do it, and they teach it and they head it up. All the up and all stars and champions teach it, which is amazing. So it gives a chance for the people who have been there before that are working on getting up to that higher level, a chance to teach and flourish and help the people that are new to the game.
Right.
Come up. It's great.
Yeah, it's really awesome. You know, there's a lot of events that do it. Like I had mentioned before, Moldover does it. Kay Newhouse does a lot of that. She actually helps us at Trilogy, as well as Alyssa Lundgren, who runs it for us. And, you know, it's just, I mean, look, we all were newcomer at one point, right?
Right.
So we all remember how scary it is to go to an event, and now you're seeing for the first time all of these people that you've only seen on YouTube before. You know, so it can be super intimidating, and you know, super intimidating to take workshops, and nobody likes to show anybody that they're brand new and they're beginning at something. Nobody wants to be that vulnerable all the time. So it's super cool that they do these programs. A lot of events are doing them, and you know, a lot of events do it for like juniors too. So
Yes.
It's so cool to see different events, you know, adding new programs and ways to welcome people into it, because, dude, you know as well as I do, this world can be super cliquey.
Yes.
And you know, it sometimes can be like one of those revolving doors with people that come in and then leave, and they leave as quickly as they come, and then you never see them again. And we got to figure out ways to stop making that from happening, man. You know, we just do. Especially now with the pandemic and all of the lives that we've just lost. I mean, I look at shit different right now in my life, and you know, I'm more about inclusion than exclusion, and I think we all need to kind of be like that more as a human race.
Absolutely. Now we've noticed, and I always follow it because I follow the WSDC, and I see the weekly post on most of all the events that have canceled. Do you think once we start holding events again that we're going to be able to see all of these events come back, or do you think, because you just got the last couple of years, definitely the amount of events have, what I would say, doubled throughout a year, doubled, maybe almost tripled in some. There used to not be this, definitely nowhere near this many West Coast Swing events, and now that we have so many events, what do you think this is going to do to the ability for all these events to come back? Because I like seeing more events. It gives everyone a chance, because not everyone has the ability to travel as often. So there's something closer. Travel's expensive, and we're going to see flights go right back up the minute this opens up. Flights that are really cheap now due to the fact that no one wants to travel, you're going to see definitely go back up.
Well, so like, let me just start off by saying how much this dance has grown since I started. So when I started in '96 DJing, I think there was maybe 20 events total. And now there's easily over 100 just in the United States.
Yeah.
Forget about everything international. So, you know, my thing is, and I'm only talking about here in the States because I can't talk about anywhere else. My thing is, it seems like every event that is canceling, you know, has the blessing and the okay from hotels. In other words, no one's having to pay a penalty. Everyone is able to use the force majeure clause. So, you know, that just means that we're able to transfer the event over to next year, because most hotels are allowing events to do that. So that, number one, is a good thing. And no one's really lost money because we haven't had the event. We haven't, had to pay any of the pros, blah, blah, blah. So I'm hoping that when everything opens up, those events can come back. I don't know, the finances of every single event, so I can't really truthfully answer that. I'm hoping to God we don't lose a lot. But more importantly, dude, I think the problem doesn't lie in will there be events to go back to. I think the problem lies in will there be enough people for events to be able to continue? Because I'm pretty sure that no one's going to start hopping on a plane until there's some kind of vaccine. You always have the younger, crazy, and not just younger, because lots of times the older folks don't think right straight either. You're always going to have those groups that are like, screw it, I'm going to go anyway. You're always going to have that. But unfortunately, that's not enough to sustain an event.
Correct.
I don't want to say the smarter people, but the more folks that think things out more are probably gonna say, yeah, no, I'm cool. I don't really want to do that just yet. And I can't blame them, man. I can't blame them because this is brand new. We have no idea what this is going to do. I mean, shit, we could wake up tomorrow and it could be gone. You know what I'm saying? Just as fast as it came, it could be gone. Or we could have this for the rest of our lives and it's just another strain of a flu that is a lot worse, right? And we have to learn to live with this forever. But it's that learning that's going to take some time. And honestly, what I think is going to happen, and this is just me personally, I think we're going to have to start growing. And this goes for any dance, right? Line dance, country, what have you. I think we're going to have to start growing internally again to grow externally. Meaning you're going to see a lot of local events. Like when I started in the mid-90s, there were so many local events, way more than there were national. And a lot of those local events had 300 to 500 people. So I'm talking, these were massive events.
Right.
I think we're going to go back to seeing local where people that can drive, and you're going to see the local pros now become more of your upper echelon. And I think as maybe a year or two progresses, we'll start seeing events come back. But sadly, I think it's going to take anywhere from 2 to 5 years before we get back to where we were when we shut down in March. That's my opinion. I just don't see people. I mean, every time something happens, dude, people get sick. No one's going to want to go to an event with the possibility that there could be an outbreak.
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
And I definitely think, and I've talked about this with many people, that line dance events will come back before any sort of West Coast swing, ballroom, or country event, because there's it's solo, right? It's solo. Just like I think, like the solo dance comps for kids will come back before like the couple stuff. Yeah. But again,
I mean, let's just be honest. Our sport is not a sport made for social distancing.
It's not. No, you're 100% right.
And when hotels start seeing that and putting 2 and 2 together, they're like, yeah, you know what? It's cool. We'll cancel this year. You don't owe us any money. We'll switch to next year. And let's see what happens when we get to it. We'll find out, because no hotel wants to be put liable for something like that either. So, I think events will be here when we come back. My concern is, when are we coming back? That's more my concern than anything.
Like, you're the hotel that you hold Trilogy at. We do a line dance event there called Line Dance Marathon. Yep. We put 2 floors in that main ballroom. We do a 4,000 square foot and another 3,000 square foot. Everyone's like, let's just add more floor. I go, but more floor with less people, the event can't afford the more floor. I'm like, more floor is not always going to be the answer. Like, if you social distance everyone 6 feet on a 4,000 square foot floor, you go from holding a couple hundred, 300-400 people on that floor to like 120.
Right.
At 6 feet apart on some, like, no event director is going to be able to afford to do that, 120 people, and have that much floor.
Yeah, no. I mean, for that, I would rather find a gymnasium and just rent that out,
Right.
and then do it there. That's why I'm saying I think monetarily, logistically, when you kind of start looking at the big picture of this, it makes more sense to start growing this again locally, within each city internally again, so we can create the crowd to when we can safely start traveling again, boom, we've got more than enough people that are willing and can't wait to start traveling. I personally think that's how it should work, man.
There was an event that just happened a couple weeks ago in Taiwan. They were allowed to have 200 people together in a gymnasium, the DJ there. But what they did was all the line dance instructors recorded it ahead of time, and they put the hour-long lessons up on projectors. And then they they called, video chatted them in. That way the instructors could talk to everybody on the screen. They could talk back. What do you think the possibility of there's going to be some virtual concepts added to events in the future?
Well, I actually, like, when we first shut down, I was having so many entrepreneur moments within my head of things of what we can do for when we come back, because it is going to be different. I mean, we're not coming back to how it was. Just if you think we are, Jesus, I want to have what you're smoking. But, I was thinking of ways to, like, do things like that. And I think that now, because, listen, before, whenever we would do live sessions, like I would tell people at an event, hey, if you want to do a DJ private, you don't have to wait till the next event that we're at together. I can Skype. Everyone's like, and I get it because no one was used to it. Now that the whole world is used to Zoom and how this works, I think when we go back to events, it's going to be a lot easier to put in more virtual things and more video cameras and stuff and reach bigger people in the world, because now they're like, hey, you know what? I know it's 8 p.m. Boston time and this contest is starting and I'm in Taiwan. I can turn it on to watch it, or I can record it, or I know that it's late night dancing and I'm home by myself having a drink, winding down. You know what? I'm going to watch it and just listen to the music. I think that now people being more accustomed to things like that, I think you'll see more events actually probably incorporate stuff. I mean, it would be smart to, because now you can also sell those tickets because people can virtually take the workshops too, man.
Right, absolutely. Because it's just another thing to help the customers. And I also think it's going to benefit, and I was talking to this to a couple of line dance people, the instructors who are booked, say, because in the line dance world, the events overseas are more 2-day. They're like Saturday, Sunday, or just Friday, Saturday, not Thursday through Sunday like they are here in the States. If someone's booked for an event for just Saturday, Sunday over there, they're still able to do stuff on Thursday, Friday here in the States, so they can virtually Skype them in. That's an instructor doing 2 events in one weekend, making double the money.
Not only that, dude, but you could be at an event teaching privates, and if you have a couple of hours available, you can also do a Skype private now with somebody living in another part of the world in your hotel room. So, you're being seen more, so it's a capability of you being able to make more money in so many different ways. So I'm pretty sure that the other event directors that think out of the box are going to figure out ways to incorporate that for sure.
All those event directors, you know how to get a hold of me. I've already been live streaming for 6 years. Ask Victor.
No shameless plug there, people.
Like Kristen just said, except for the back end of dealing with copyright issues with music, depending on the platform and the cost of setting that up. That's the only downside with that. A lot of the times is the copyright. I did a whole video, and Kristen and I talked about this because she had some of the questions. Music getting blocked in the States sucks.
But here's the thing. I mean, if you are paying for that license the way you do at an event, you should therefore be able to transfer that over, because how do these DJs and I know it's sponsorship, but you look at like DJ Jazzy Jeff and these other DJs, they're constantly live on Facebook and they never, ever, ever get shut down. Now, I know that they're sponsored by people, but what that tells me is that there is some kind of law out there that allows that music to be played. And if I'm paying ASCAP or BMI to be able to do it at an event, then I should be able to put that event on a social media and be able to play that music, because that is part of my event that I'm already paying rights for.
I asked that question. I contacted a copyright attorney and I asked that question. The funny thing is, Facebook has all the proper licensing to do whatever they want. Unfortunately, Facebook owns Facebook and they have the right to take whatever they want down, is exactly what the attorney told me. He goes, Zuckerberg has every license he's supposed to have. He can do whatever he wants. He can broadcast anything on his platform. But he also has the power, and his guys have the power to take whatever they want down off the platform. So,
well, and you know what? That's totally true, and I totally get it. I mean, it's his football, his rules. But here's the other thing, how you circumvent that. You just live that shit on your website. Nobody can stop that. That's your website. So I'm pretty sure you can pay for rights to that, just like you can if I owned a nightclub or I'm running an event where I pay for that licensing fee to be able to play it in a ballroom. I should also be able to play it off of my website. That may be a way around it. I don't know, but I know that I think laws too, and other companies, things are going to change when we start opening back up, because the way we do business, bro, is going to change forever.
Absolutely.
The way we left the world ain't going to be the same way we re-enter it, man. So many new jobs are going to be created too, I feel.
Oh, absolutely. I've already seen a huge change, because being broadcasting at events the way I've been doing, what I've normally would gotten kicked off for live on Facebook is not as happening as often. It's so hit or miss. It's so random. I still don't get busted on YouTube for nothing until after I'm live. As long as I'm live, I can be live for up to 4 hours and YouTube doesn't take me down. They just won't let me. They'll just give me a copyright thing and they'll put ads up on it afterwards. YouTube and Facebook definitely don't communicate with each other. That's for sure.
No, they don't. It's funny because on Facebook, every blue moon, I get a message from them, and it's always from Trilogy, the things that you filmed, and it says, "Hey, we had to mute 1 minute and 15 seconds of this video," and I'm like, "Wait, but the rest of it is okay?" It makes no sense.
Nope.
And it lets you dispute, but when you click dispute, it doesn't take you anywhere. It's amazing.
I got one that was finally released from Trilogy, I think from 2016 or 2017, our first year of Trilogy. 2017, our first year of Trilogy. Facebook just released a claim on one of the videos 2 days ago. I just got the notification.
That's really funny.
That they unmuted it. I'm like, 3 years. 3 years almost to the day it took. I'm like, that's just insanity. It's so random too. It can be, because I know you DJed, you did some live sets. I know a couple people that did some live sets. It's totally random what they take off.
It is. It's really random, man. And sometimes if you put the volume lower, you can play for hours and they won't stop you. But I don't know. It's just, I think certain songs trigger Facebook. I'll be honest.
Adele, Taylor Swift, anything from Sony almost. Yeah. Sony's are a little bit harder. It was funny. I did a show where I did my top 10 Saturday night show performances. I didn't play a single piece of music. I muted them all tracks, just showed the dancing. The very first video I had the Britain's Got Talent logo in the background, and Facebook shut me down for the logo. They didn't even shut me down for the music. They took my live feed down because of the logo. I didn't even have music playing. I was like...
Sometimes I hate Facebook, man. If it wasn't for the fact that I run my business off of Facebook, I literally would poop on it and just delete it. I swear to God. All these people that aren't on Facebook, I envy them. And I've also noticed their lives are just not as stressful, too. So go figure.
Yeah, but no, lately, I envy them for a while until we got into this pandemic and everything turned into being on live. And they do nothing but email complaining saying, well, I want to watch all the lessons, but why is it? But do I have to be on Facebook? Well, yes, it's a Facebook Live.
Right. Well, what are you going to do? Some people are just pretty.
So, any chance, anything that hasn't canceled for you lately? Anything coming up that you actually might get a chance to go to? Is there anything left?
No, dude.
I pretty much every West Coast swing event this year is canceled.
I mean, look, when the Open came out and canceled, that pretty much put everyone else at a mindset of, okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and cancel because the Open's the last thing at the end of the year, right? So, I mean, not the last thing, but you know what I mean. And I'm already getting notifications from New Year's events and stuff like that. So for me, the rest of the year is canceled, and it's pretty safe to say that it's canceled for the entire West Coast swing world. I'm sure it is for country and line dance. Well, I can't say line dance, but I'm basically talking about anything here in the States. I can't imagine any event happening. And I don't even know what's going to happen going into 2021 at the beginning. I'll be honest with you, dude. I don't see anything in January happening either. I mean, there's still not even a vaccine somewhere down the line that's even close. So I don't know. It may not even be until the end of next year, or maybe even the beginning of 2022. That's how screwed up I think this is, honestly.
Yeah, I did. I saw that Danielle and April canceled floor play New Year's, and I saw the Markers did the same thing for theirs. The only one I haven't seen is, I think, the one up in Boston.
I mean, everything's going to cancel. Everyone's like, my God, I haven't heard about so-and-so event canceling. You think they're going to happen? I'm like, look, people, here's what's happening. Most events are waiting to get guests from their hotel that they don't owe any money, because the bottom line is we're talking about a crap load of money if you have to pay a penalty fee to these hotels for not having an event. So just because an event hasn't said they've canceled doesn't mean they're thinking about having the event. Just means they're waiting for the hotel to go, you're cool, you don't owe us anything. And a lot of these hotels are waiting until the very last minute because shit is changing in every state every 5 seconds.
Yeah, I know that there's three line dance events that haven't canceled yet. Vegas, which is usually the weekend before the Open, and has about 1,500 people at it. I don't think they're going to be that big, but they haven't canceled yet. They're still waiting to hear because the hotel, the Westgate in Vegas, is supposed to hold a convention here in a couple weeks, and they're waiting to see if the state allows it. Then there's one in New York in November. I just don't see that happening. That one I don't see happening. And then Jen and Jason have one here in Orlando that's supposed to happen in December, so we'll see. And Jimmy Mulligan just said Worlds and Christmas and Dixie may still happen for country, which I know Worlds just announced the other day. They cut the schedule down to 4 days instead of 6. So if they do happen, Worlds will be 4.
It's funny that Mulligan just chimed in, because I actually just saw a couple of days ago somebody post a video of a ballroom comp that actually was happening because everyone was in their masks. And I'm like, what the hell is happening? Am I seeing a contest? So I'm curious if Jimmy's actually been to any.
Yeah, I think I saw that video too. I know there's a couple of smaller events that happen overseas. A buddy of mine went and taught in Switzerland this week. Denmark just held one, a little tiny one, I think like 25, 30 people. I know different countries overseas are opening up way sooner than we are. And I know here it's hard because every state's different. Every state's rule. Yeah, and Jimmy said, yep, there's no social dancing at them though. Just comp. So, they're back.
Well, but I mean, think about it. Ballroom never was ever known for social dancing to begin with. It's all contest, and that's where their money is at. And so it's really not, I mean, it's not really affecting them, really, because they don't social.
Glover just said the ballroom rules had 23 events here in the U.S. since the Rona lights went out. Holy mackerel. Wow.
That's both impressive and scary at the same time.
Right. Jimmy said there's no social dancing at them, and people stay to their teachers and their family. Not fully back to moving in that way. So comp, that's understandable. But still, wow.
That's interesting.
Wow.
Well, for all you people doing that, thank you for starting herd immunity. We appreciate it. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know, man. So here's my whole thing, right? And for me, it just comes down, and this is me personally, I can't speak for anybody else. As a co-event director, I, in good conscience, can't open up my doors and run an event, and then sometime down the road, I come to find out, God forbid, that somebody contacted the virus at my event and then died from it. I couldn't live with myself. Personally, I could not. And that's why, in my mind, there's just no way I could run the event until I know 90% sure, and maybe 95% sure that, nobody is going to walk away, contacting the disease, the virus, let alone, dying from it, God forbid. So that's my whole thing. So when I hear that these things are happening, I get there's no social dancing in ballroom. There never has been. And I always have heard stories that the pros go to someone's room and, they hang out and party it up in there and whatnot. And I get that there's big money in that. Trust me, I get it. But I mean, shit, I don't know, man. Are they dancing? So they're dancing with the masks, I'm assuming.
I would assume if that's the case.
I don't know. Maybe the judges are the only ones wearing the masks. I mean, the basketball players and the baseball players, the majority of them aren't wearing masks, but the referees are, so who knows?
Well, the NBA ones, the game I watched the other night, the referees didn't have masks on.
Well, but they're also running constantly, dude.
Right.
So I don't know. And not all the refs are young, so I mean, I don't know what the protocol is for that. But I know that the people on the outside, like when I watch baseball, the majority of the umpires, because they don't really have to run a lot, are wearing the masks. But I don't know, man. I mean, look.
Loveira says they take them off to dance.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
That's what I figured. I don't know. I mean, look, to each his own. I get it. Everybody has to make a living, and it's easy for me to sit in my house, in my four walls under my roof, pointing at other people when, I thank God I'm okay. And other people are like, this is my freaking livelihood. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm not pointing a finger. I don't know, man. For me, the ramifications way more than the just cause to do it. But that's just me.
Jimmy says a lot wear masks. Yes, I've not been to one yet personally. So he is yet to be one. He is yet to go to one.
Would you go, Jimmy? I'm curious. Would you go?
Let's see. It's about a 10-second delay from when we're
Yeah,
talking.
no, I figured. And for the record, like I was asked if certain events happened, would I go? Like if under contract, if the events happened, would I still come and work the event? And honestly, I said yes. But I said yes with a lot of caveats, and that's obviously, you got to explain to me what your precautions are to make sure everybody's safe, and I got to make sure that it makes sense. But I was weighing it out because, I mean, look, again, this is my livelihood. This is how I make my money, and let's just be honest, unemployment ain't doing shit. And thank God that they added people that are self-employed to collect unemployment, or else we all would have been screwed. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Jimmy says he's scheduled to judge one in 3 weeks, but he's not sure about it yet. I'll let you know in 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, he's probably at the same boat I was. He's weighing it out, and is it going to be safe? It sucks, man. We're definitely in a weird world, dude.
Yeah, that is for sure. Especially, and I'm curious the difference is, and Jimmy, I might have to call you to get you on the show because I'm kind of curious of this now that we found out all these events. Because I used to videotape some ballroom events back in the day, but like, how close are the judges to today? The dancers. So if you're judging it, you're definitely going to be way more than 6 feet away. You can wear a mask. So it almost might be safer than going to your local grocery store. I'm just saying. like everyone questioned us. Everyone questioned us for going to Disney. And let me tell you, like I was telling you earlier, Victor, Disney's empty. I feel safer at Disney, social distance, than I do at the Publix across the street from my house.
So, listen, here's my whole take on everything that's happening right now in the world. Do I wear a mask? Absolutely. Do I believe in the mask? Absolutely. Should everybody be wearing a mask? Absolutely. But there are certain things, my brother, that just make me giggle. Like the first time, that I wore the mask to the grocery store, I went into the frozen section and I picked up the same box like 4 freaking times before I decided whether I wanted it or not. And then I went up to my wife and I said, can I ask you a question? I said, with this particular virus, it's supposed to stay alive in the cold, is it not? She's like, well, that's what they say. I'm like, right. And it's also like if you touch things, Like, it's supposed to be able to go on things, right? She goes, well, yeah, supposedly. I'm like, holy crap, thank God I'm wearing a mask, because I just picked up a box 4 times, put it back into the freezer where the virus is probably going to live until someone else picks it up. So it's like stuff like that, because this is so new that you don't know. You're like, well, I'm glad I'm wearing a mask, but holy shit, what about everything else that I'm doing?
Like, my favorite was, and I should post, I almost posted this picture. They had a sign up. We went to Hollywood Studios, and we went to Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars Land. And they have this huge signs up everywhere. The first thing it says, wear your mask at all times. The only time you're allowed to have your mask off is if you're eating or drinking, and you have to be stationary and social distance. The third one is said, make sure to cover your nose and mouth if you sneeze or cough. Shouldn't number 1 cover that? Do you have to?
But here's what kills me is that we're asking people to cover their face and mouth when they cough. I'm like, holy shit, what were we doing before the pandemic? For the love of God. Because I always do, and I always wash my hands after I use the little boys' room. Although, ladies, I just want to fill you in on something. I'm probably going to freak out a lot of people, but I don't care. Well, I'm going to say it anyway before Kelly cuts me off. I can't tell you how many times at a dance event, after, going to the men's room, that I'm washing my hands and I'm watching other people come into the restroom, do their thing, and not wash their hands, and then go dance with someone, and then I see them in the ballroom, and I'm like, ew. But that happens a lot.
So, as we close this up, Glover wants to know, what do you think it takes to really be a well-rounded DJ? And what should we expect from your upcoming online DJ master class?
Well, first of all, Rob, had you not tuned in late, you would have heard me earlier about my master class. So I'll just let you, when Kelly puts this on live, just catch up, because I don't want to bore the people and say it again. But my master class is going to be amazing. Everyone's going to.
I just put the flyer back up, September 27th, for those who want to take it, 2 to 6.
Love you, Rob. Meet it. What was? See, now I forgot. What was the?
What do you think it really takes to become a well-rounded DJ? You have to pay Victor off in drinks at every event.
Well, there's always that. No, so it's funny because I say this at every any intensive, DJ intensive that I do, or any class or workshop, or even any private. The thing that I always constantly say is, in order to be a good DJ, you really have to be able to learn to read a ballroom. That is really the most important thing, and the hardest thing to do also, which is why there's not that many great DJs out there. I hate to be an ass and say that, but it's the truth. So to me, is being able to walk into any situation and be able to read the crowd and figure it out within a half hour or so, and then, to me, that's the most important thing, because let's just face it, in today's technology, we all have the same songs. It's when the hell do you play them, and knowing when to play them and not to play them, and who to play them for. So reading a room, to me, is the most important thing.
Absolutely. Well, Victor, thank you so much for coming on. It was definitely a fun hour. That was amazing. I'm hoping everyone out there enjoyed it as much as me and him did.
I loved it, bro. Thanks for having me on. It was so much fun. I probably talked so much.
Oh, but, you're good. You're good. Guys, the rest of the week, tomorrow, my top 10 Rachel dances. So make sure to join me on that one. Thursday, I got a living legend himself. He's the head of V10 on the virtual TV, Mr. Roy Verdonk. Friday, I'm going to go ahead and put this up, guys. Friday is going to be super special. Nashville recording artist Eric Burgett is going to be joining me, talking about his new release. If you don't know who it is, he did the song Raised, which was for the dance Raised on Biscuits that Roy Verdonk and Sebastian Hotland did last year this time. He is going to be joining me. He's even going to play his newest, probably his newest single for you guys. His newest single just dropped. Head over to iTunes and get that. But I got him on the show on Friday. We're going to be talking country music, line dancing, and all things that. So, guys, like always, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Victor. Tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, guys. See ya.